Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon, and we're going to talk about Deadpool star Ryan Reynolds apologizing for having a wedding. Well, it's not the wedding they're apologizing for, Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively. It is where the wedding was held. Ryan Reynolds has to apologize for having a wedding at a plantation, which was converted into an event location. We're going to talk about how A-list white male celebrities in Hollywood current year have to be super extra careful about every damn thing they do, because everything they do is under a microscope in 2020. Everything you do is being examined for racist intent or sexist intent. And, this is just the way it is right now in 2020. I don't know if things are going to go back to being a little more balanced or not, but there's been a lot of talk about how Hollywood now has become very kind of anti-white male. It's not fashionable to be a white male, and if you're a white male who is successful, especially, you're going to be looked at with suspicion. People are going to look for ways to cancel you, and I think that this whole apology is Ryan Reynolds' way of avoiding cancellation, avoiding cancel culture, because it's coming for you. So before we get into it, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We're at almost 150,000 subs. Thanks for the support. This is coming from Bounding Into Comics, boundingintocomics.com. Go check them out. They got a lot of hot takes on pop culture, but yeah, Deadpool star Ryan Reynolds apologizes for having wedding to Blake Lively at South Carolina Boone Hall Plantation. Speaking with Fast Company in August, Reynolds stated it's something we'll always be deeply and unreservedly sorry for. It's impossible to reconcile. What we saw at the time was a wedding venue on Pinterest. What we saw after was a place built upon devastating tragedy. He then detailed that he and Lively would have a second wedding ceremony at their home. Years ago, we got married again at home, but shame works in weird ways. Why this was brought up on Fast Company, which is a business site, why they brought up his wedding being held at a plantation. Now, Reynolds is a business savvy guy. He's got a lot of other business investments outside of Hollywood. I think one, because he's smart, and two, because he knows, he knows which way the wind is blowing in Hollywood, and his time in Hollywood might be curtailed or minimized after he's no longer bringing the boom at the box office, right? Because it's not going to be fashionable to be a middle-aged straight white guy in Hollywood going forward. Let's be honest here. So I think they're talking to him about Mint Mobile, and they're talking to him about how he started some fund for diverse talent being trained in Hollywood. But he talked about the interviewer asked him about the George Floyd protests in May, and he said that in 2012 their wedding took place in Boone Hall, a former plantation in South Carolina. Press coverage at the time focused mostly on the glamour of the event, though some pointed exceptions noted the callousness of holding a celebration in a place where slaves had suffered and died. It wasn't until 2018 that the story caught on in a significant way when a tweet Reynolds posted in praise of Black Panther sparked a viral response accusing him of hypocrisy. The actor is still clearly pained by the hurt the wedding caused, as well as by his own lack of judgment. No, I don't think he was hurt by the wedding. I think he was hurt by social media taking him to task for a decision he made, that he and his wife had made almost 10 years ago. And I'm going to be honest, then at that point, do you cancel episodes of paranormal shows because they're always investigating plantations? I know a lot of old manors and plantations and buildings with unfortunate histories. I'm not condoning the history at all, but a lot of those buildings have been repurposed in more recent years to become like event venues and that sort of thing. He said, years ago we got married again at home, but shame works in weird ways. A giant effing mistake like that can either cause you to shut down or it can reframe things and move you into action. Doesn't mean you won't F up again, but repatterning it and challenging lifelong social conditioning is a job that doesn't end. That's a very interesting choice of words. This sounds like he's been repatterned. He's been sent off to the social conditioning farm to get his head in the right place to be more current year. I'm surprised he didn't come back with a man bun. Yeah, so that's, interesting. This comes up in the middle of a conversation just talking about his success in Deadpool. Why that would come up? Because it's 2020. It's 2020. Reynolds' apology regarding his wedding ceremony came after the actor responded to protests after George Floyd died in police custody. In May, Reynolds posted to Instagram revealing that he and his wife, Blake Lively, donated $200,000 to the NAACP Legal Defense Fund, aka restitution. He also explained that both he and Lively had previously allowed ourselves to be uninformed about how deeply rooted systemic racism is. We've never had to worry about preparing our kids for different rules of law or what might happen if we're pulled over in the car. We don't know what it's like to experience that life day in and day out. We can't imagine feeling that kind of fear and anger. We're ashamed that in the past we've allowed ourselves to be uninformed about how deeply rooted systemic racism is. We've been teaching our children differently than the ways our parents taught us. We want to educate ourselves about other people's experiences and talk to our kids about everything, all of it, especially our own complicity. We talk about our biases, our blindness, and our own mistakes. We look back and see so many mistakes which have led us to deeply examine who we are and who we want to become. They've led us to huge avenues of education. We're committed to raising our kids so they never grow up feeding this insane pattern, and so they'll do their best to never inflict pain on another being, consciously or unconsciously. Another being? Human being? Because what if you step on a bug or something? I don't know. It's the least we can do to honor not just the black men and women who've been killed. Last week we contributed $200,000 to the NAACP Legal Defense Fund. They want to be allies. We want to use our privilege and platform to be an ally. Please don't cancel us. Don't cancel me, Hollywood. That's what this is. This is like, look, and I'm not saying that, people don't F up and make mistakes, and maybe being a Hollywood celebrity, having a wedding at a plantation, might not be a very good look, but a lot of people in 2012 really didn't think much about it because, again, a lot of those old buildings with unfortunate histories have been repurposed. They have been repurposed a long time ago. Now, because if he's guilty, then a lot of other people are guilty of it too. I know a lot of people who have had weddings in places that maybe they ought not current year. So here's the thing, right? And I'm going to talk about this because we did talk about it before, that there seems to be, there are 2.9 thousand comments on this. Holy shit. The dailymail.co.uk a couple months ago put this article out claiming that Hollywood insiders came to them and said that Hollywood is basically instituting reverse racism and that the film industry is creating a toxic climate for anyone who is a white middle-aged man, kind of like Ryan Reynolds. It is in Ryan Reynolds' best interest, especially with movies coming out, including Free Guy, which looks pretty cool, I have to add. Free Guy actually looks pretty cool. But it's in his best interest to make sure that he stays in Hollywood's good graces, so the phone rings. Now, most of middle America would not have cared. That's the thing. The moviegoers don't care. So when these celebrities make these big statements and they give this restitution money out or whatever, they're not doing it for the benefit of the average people in America. They're doing it for their peers. They're doing it so the phone rings. They're doing it so even if Hollywood somehow becomes anti-white and anti-male, that Ryan Reynolds still gets a phone call, because we remember that time Ryan Reynolds went out of his way to apologize and gave us a bunch of money. We're sure as hell going to cancel him, but we're going to wait a little bit longer. We'll cancel him last. We'll cancel everybody else first, but we'll cancel Ryan Reynolds last. right? And I have to wonder if he doesn't know it's coming, which is why he's building all these other businesses. You know, very, very interesting to see this happen. I think we're going to see one of two reactions to this from Hollywood celebrities. Is we're going to see either they give Hollywood the finger, you know, they go all Ricky Gervais, or they go Ryan Reynolds and they basically buckle. They go way overboard with apologies to try to make sure that the phone still rings. And I'm not saying he doesn't legitimately feel this way on some level, but I think it's just the over-the-top apology. It's kind of like he makes sure he gets all the buzzwords in there, and they all sound like they're coming from some sort of coach or a conditioner or something, because they're all the right buzzwords. And we've seen this kind of copy-paste response from other celebrities too. A lot of buzzwords that are not used in everyday conversation. We saw Noelle Stevenson slipped up during her live stream, and she keeps apologizing. She started using some of those buzzwords too, and talked about how she was talking to like a diversity and inclusion person about her attitude. And I think Ryan Reynolds has had his diversity and inclusion talk, his training. That's exactly what's going on here. So then right after all this happens, Ryan Reynolds starts the diversity initiative amidst the Black Lives Matter movement. I'll tell you the truth. This is the cynic in me. I think this is because he was called out before Black Lives Matter, and now he knows he will be extra canceled. So he's got to go out of his way and throw as much money toward these causes as possible, so the media does not bring up the fact that he got married in a plantation. So this is the group effort initiative. And the cynic in me, part of me is like, yeah, this is actually a pretty good thing. He's making sure that he's trying to get more diverse voices in Hollywood. But then part of me is like, yeah, you're just buying yourself time so you don't get canceled. That's why you're doing this, right? That's why I think he's doing it. But again, I don't know. I don't know where he's at. We're going to see a lot more of this, I think, in Hollywood, because there are a lot of people who want to continue to work in Hollywood, and to do that, if you're a straight white guy, you're going to have to make sure that everybody knows you're one of the good ones. You're one of the good straight white guys. You're not one of the bad ones. Well, I mean, they're all bad, right? It's just some are less bad than others, and some are willing to pony up some money, and other ones aren't. But did I just say that? Yeah. So, going to be very interesting to see celebrities sort of trip over themselves as usual, to signal as hard as they can. I still like Ryan Reynolds overall. I think he's a pretty okay guy, but yeah, I mean, it's a tough position. You depend on Hollywood, and you can be canceled just like that for anything you've ever done, ever said, ever. They're going to go through your life, and they're going to comb through everything you've done. Certainly everything you've ever tweeted, every friendship you've had, things you've said 10, 20 years ago, you can be canceled for now. And current year getting married in a plantation, not a good look. Not a good look, Ryan Reynolds. So I'm going to wrap this one up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, and we'll talk later.